I'd fight anywhere. I'd fight him anywhere. So it doesn't really matter. Freaking, I'd fight him in South Dakota with nobody, like literally nobody, and then Apex, a little bit more people, a little bit more staff. But it doesn't matter. I'll fight him, in my hometown. I'll fight him at the mall.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. All right, Kai, the last fight. Let's start with that, man. Like when you think about it, yeah. When you think about it, man. When you like recollect it in your mind, like what sticks out the most from your performance, from your perspective?
Just being free, like just using everything, enjoying the moment. Shoot, yeah, enjoying the moment. Slow it, like kind of making just you have practice. You have a training camp. You practice every day. You practice all your life, but then there's nothing like another outing, and then getting to practice the warm up, practice the travel, the long travel, practice the weight cut again, and those are things that I got to do once again to prepare me for the next step, and that's what I think about. I literally, when you ask me like what was the main thing, is just like making sure everything was like as best as I could, to allow me to have a good performance, and in the fight, just not forcing anything, let everything come, and I think that was what it was.
Were you able to see things more clearly? You know what I mean in the fight.
Yeah, but it was due to like just the way I want. Like I was thinking in training, thinking leading up to the fight, learning from my last fight, prior to that, against Justin Gonzalez, and then that built all the experience. You learn more and more through experience, and then that was one thing that I wanted to focus on, is just make sure I see everything. You said it, like see everything, um, and be in the moment. Sometimes you get too caught up on like the stage or the moment or the magnitude of the fight you're in, and not real like just focusing on those 15 minutes, focusing on the time that you're in there, and that was the main thing. Like that was like the emphasis in that fight. Just let it go, be loose, because I feel like skill for skill, like I'm one of the best in the world. um but just be free. If I let it, like, just be myself, it's gonna be good. And I think that's what I didn't do in the Justin Gonzalez fight, is I capped myself off in wanting to just sprawl and brawl, um and I think that was what kind of, not, it didn't hinder me my performance, because I still feel like I won in that fight, but I felt like I didn't allow myself to do everything that I have.
Well,
You know.
if you sprawl and brawl, you can win a lot of fights like that against a lot of opponents, man. Because you
Hmm.
just have that capability. But now it seems like you could go in there and you have that sprawl and brawl in your back pocket. But now you see the avenues, right? Like this avenue is opening up, this avenue is
Yeah.
opening up, and I think that's maybe what you're trying to say with seeing things more clearly.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. Yeah. It's exactly what it is. Like, of course, I mean, I sprawled and brawled that whole fight, and I thought I won, but maybe two other people didn't. For one of those rounds, and it's like maybe if I was the one that failed a couple takedowns, but I was the one trying to take down, it would have changed the fight. So, and that was the thing, is going there with a clear mind, not with the sense of, okay, I'm gonna do only this. I'm gonna only fight this way. I train all this, I train everything, I train all these type of ways. So why am I gonna cap myself off?
Was there any moments in that fight where you caught yourself like, hey, I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing in the fight?
No, no. I wasn't worried about time. I wasn't worried about like finishing them fast, and or finishing them at all. And I think that was like one of the biggest things, is I was just worried. I was just always worried, or not worried, but like the goal was always to 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 kill, and eventually it'll
There
come.
you go. You got it, man. Third round. And after that, did you just jump right back into training? Because it seemed like you were back helping somebody get ready for that. Was it Jeremy? You were helping Jeremy get ready for his fight?
Yeah, so Jeremy called me, or me and Jeremy always talking, um and he called me like maybe a few weeks before, or like October, and I was getting ready for the fight, or late October. He called me. He's like, if I could come out for to Ireland, come out back to Vegas and finish the camp, and then go out to Vegas. I mean, go out to Ireland. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Um, so that's what we did, and then like 2 weeks after being in Vegas, I got this fight.
How was Ireland, man? Going in there in like enemy territory, right? Like people don't like you.
Yeah, yeah, was good. I mean, and as like the main training partner, you almost like you you're almost like a head coach, like associate head coach in a way, right? Because based off of, like, more than, I mean, the coaches know a lot. They see a lot, and they're like the authority in the corner. But like as the main training partner, um you know more based off of feel. Based off of feel, where Jeremy's strong, or where your main training partners are strong, and where they're at their best, where they're at their weak, their weak points are. And so you like, and based off all the drilling that me and Jeremy do, all the stuff that we talk about, all the ideas that we share, and it's time to fight. It's like, okay, hopefully everything that we did pays off. That's what it is. Hopefully I give him a good enough look to where, he's able to face the things that he has to face in there and get the job done. And um, not luckily, but gratefully, and he got the job done in the fashion that we thought. With the adversity that he faced, just not feeling well, and he still was able to do everything that he was set out to
Yeah,
do.
for sure. And I feel like it's so beneficial for you because you actually get to prepare for guys that you could possibly fight in the future by being
Hmm.
them.
Yeah,
Or
beating them. It's funny because when I went back to Bellator, right, um, for a few weeks, or for like a month, I didn't have a fight yet. Yeah, I signed in September and I didn't have a fight yet. But Jeremy said that he was fighting John De Jesus. Jeremy was fighting John De Jesus, so I was standing southpaw for like maybe almost a month, and then then Jeremy's opponent got switched to Sanchez, and then I was on the plane to Florida, and then Brian called me and said that I was gonna, hey, John De Jesus in like 3.5 weeks. I was like, okay, this is funny because, I mean, yes, I'm gonna fight, but like, this is weird. Like, I don't know what is to do with like promotion and manager like funkiness, but Jeremy was just preparing for him, and then John De Jesus got hurt, and then now I'm fighting him. So it was weird, but and then it just worked out because a lot of stuff that I was mimicking, is what I had to watch out for now.
how does that help you to develop your skills, like switching stances, especially? You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of dudes, they're so uncomfortable, right? Because they don't switch stance. But you helping someone else prepare for a different stance, does that develop your stand up?
Yeah, I mean, just erase the names, right? Like, that was two fights, like two fights camps where I was standing southpaw for Germany. That that camp for a bit, and then this last camp, came back in 4 weeks. I was standing southpaw for um, Pedro Carvalho. So I mean, you're gonna it as it's not that switching stance part is not hard. It's staying in that stance that gets difficult, like defensively, because anybody can switch stance for like a few seconds here and there, and then go right back, or a few seconds, throw a combo and go right back. But like, try to stay in a stay in the opposite stance for like more than half the time, or almost all the time. That's what gets difficult, and that's where he makes the most improvements, is like being uncomfortable. You're gonna get used to it eventually.
Yeah, because in fights, sometimes you see dudes get their leg chopped up and then they have
Mm,
to switch stance. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But if they've never been in that position, they look lost. You know, like you
Hmm.
said, they switch back, they switch for a little while and then they switch back to their normal stance, but they don't stay there. Certain dudes stay there and say, okay, I got to fight like this, but they're
Yeah,
comfortable.
Like it pays off because like my last fight I was switching stance without even thinking, and then like I actually finished off um, Kevin Bohm with like a left leg teep, but I was in southpaw going in, so, and that just came natural. That was it was like off of a combination. I ended up in southpaw and I threw a left teep. Ended up back in my regular stance, finished him off, there. So it's definitely paying off. It's slowly, but it's paying off.
Yeah, I love seeing that. I like talking about this stuff too as well. You know what I mean? Not everybody's into it like that deep. You know what I mean? We're talking about switching stances.
Yeah,
They want to hear you talk shit about other
yeah, no,
fighters. That's all they.
yeah,
Sometimes that's what they're listening for.
because I think that's when I make the most improvements, not like mimicking somebody else, but like trying to do something that I don't normally do, like, or you stand in southpaw, or um your takedowns are, you try to you do it like Jeremy's a body lock guy, right? He's more of a Greco guy. I'm more of a American folk style wrestler. So now I gotta defend his body locks, so I get better at body locks, stuff like that.
Now you're facing off against Adli Edwards, man. He made his debut against Aaron Pico. Huge debut. Went to the third round with him. Eventually got finished. What'd you think of that fight?
Um, that I don't I kind of paid close attention to that fight when it happened because that was Jeremy's fight, right? And then Jeremy got hurt in sparring from when we sparred. He just had he had an injury that he postponed the fight. So I was like watching, just out of like curiosity, and then I did see the fight. Um, I don't know. It's hard to. I mean, I'm not gonna take anything away from Adli, but he took the fight short notice. So I mean, I'm not gonna put much thought into it other than like certain things that I seen in the fight that that we think that are true tendencies of his, regardless of time frame of when he took the fight.
Yeah, he was tearing up the regional scene though. You know, what I mean, before that
Hmm.
fight, he had a long win streak as well. So there's a lot of tape on him.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm not gonna put much thought into that fight other than a few tendencies that uh, we could take from that fight and other fights.
What do
But
you see in his skill set though? Just by watching him, like what does he do well?
I mean, he does a little bit of everything. He's a he grapples, he wrestles, he kicks. So I mean, I mean, a few guys said that he's tough. But evidently at this level everybody's tough, so that's kind of like, I would say that's no. um so I feel like he does everything. He prepares well, he so that's that's what I see. He does everything. He's not oblivious to the game, on how quick it's moving.
I'm surprised that they didn't set you up against Aaron Pico. To be honest with you,
That also, I was fighting the next week, right, against Justin Gonzalez, and then I knew that Jeremy was injured, because I'm close to him, so I put my name in the hat, like, I'll fight next week. If the pay is right, I'll skip going home to for a fight like that. So, and then it just never happened.
still got a lot of time, man. There's a
Yeah.
lot of matchups for you in the future. For this camp, you get back from Ireland. The fight is already set up, and you're in camp, and Jeremy's back helping you. Like,
Yep.
what's the
Yep.
situation?
Yeah. So Jeremy stayed in Ireland for like, I mean, yeah, he stayed like overseas for like 4 days, and then but I got back in camp, got adjusted back to being jet lagged from the travel, and I kind of got right back into it again. So it's, yeah, I mean, I'm excited because I had like 4 or 5 weeks of just be making improvements on like other parts of my game with Jeremy's camp, and then came back to Vegas, and I kind of was like locking in when I was in Ireland, because um, that's when like I signed the fight like right before we went to Ireland, and then just seeing the fight week, seeing the interviews, seeing the weight cut, kind of was preparing me to like get was I was getting all antsy there, being in the co-main event in Ireland against a hometown guy. It was great, like standing on the cage, waiting for the red corner to come out. Was getting me pumped. So I was locking in. I was locked in for this fight for a while.
For you, it switches roles though. Like you're the hometown guy,
hmm Yeah,
and he's
and
coming in.
he's coming. Yeah, he's coming in. So, which it's. But at the end of the day, I feel like fighting is fighting. So I mean, I don't know. I'd fight anywhere. I'd fight him anywhere. So it doesn't really it doesn't really matter. Freaking, I'd fight him in South Dakota with nobody, like literally nobody, and then Apex, a little bit more people, a little bit more staff. But it doesn't matter. I'll fight him. Yeah, in my hometown. I'll fight him at the mall.
um, yeah, you did your this camp in Vegas. The last camp was in Hawaii.
hmm
So why did you decide to just be in Vegas this whole
Uh,
time?
so I moved back home to Hawaii because like my we had a baby come in October, and then I was in Vegas for Jeremy's camp, and then we were trying to get on an earlier card, to kind of have the ball rolling, like, transition quicker from Jeremy's camp to my camp. So I was trying to aim for the California cards, and then or yeah, the first California card, then the San Diego card, and then obviously they go back to Hawaii, so they're gonna put me back on Hawaii, and then so like I'm not gonna make too much transitions, and I had so many resources out here already that I was like make just makes sense.
And you fly back, you just stay, right?
Yeah, yeah. So works out perfect.
Yeah, yeah. What are you expecting in this fight? You know, what I mean, I feel like this dude, he's not a pushover. He's a tricky dude, like you said. He can do pretty much anything. The fight can be all over the place. Like, what do you expect out of yourself?
Um, I I expect the I think I can dictate the fight anywhere. Um, I feel like my boxing is gonna dictate the fight a lot. My my size is gonna dictate the fight a lot. He's a little bit taller, so me being the shorter guy as the boxer wrestler, as far as what he'll probably see is gonna be, he's gonna give him some problems. Just being the guy in the lower stance, um, and from there it'll kind of show where the fight is gonna go. His options from there on what he chooses to do, and then what it, it'll kind of dictate, and the stuff that I've been working on too, with fighting taller guys every day. Um, yeah, sparring taller guys every day, sparring wrestling, grappling taller guys, dictating certain spots, having a lot of good rounds with like the highest level of guys in general. I mean, working with rounds with Jeremy, Nathan, um, Julian Rosa. I mean, so I'm seeing a lot. So it's like, um, yeah. So I mean, I feel like, yeah, he's well rounded, and he's well rounded and whatnot. Where he has everything, but I also have everything every day. You know, um, so I feel like that's the advantages that I have just with my skill set. I have a lot of advantages, and with the resources that I have around me, with training partners, with the level of minds giving me information on certain things, certain positions, and then like being able to drill, having somebody like Jeremy on a day on the daily, working certain positions that I'm good at, he's good at. It's like, can't go wrong.
There you go, man. April 22nd, Bellator 295, Hawaii. Go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app. Kai, always good catching up, man, and all the best in this fight. It's gonna be a wild one. I think it's gonna be an entertaining fight.
You think so? My
Yeah.
some of my closest people, meaning like partners, they're like, man, you just be yourself. This guy can hang with you, and then you know, and like, and I, I truly believe that in any in any fight.